Hey, internet. Slight delay. Had to switch over. My Wi-Fi. However, good evening. I'm Lola B. Welcome to the Moon Mood. Let me go ahead and switch this incense over so it's not in my face. Thank you so much for joining this evening. It is Sunday, October 9th, and we are gathering for the full moon in Aries. I'm very anxious to see what the energy is, the collective energy, because it has been a very fiery day. So we can go ahead and get started. Here at the Moon, we talk about how to take light from the sun and live by the moon. I come live every new moon and full moon for intention setting and for gratitude rituals to boost manifestation, as well as to aid in cleansing your energy and being able to heal internally. It's been a few months, so you're going to have to bear with me. I have been kind of off track with doing my lives since April, but I'm here on YouTube and I am excited to see who comes through, who wants to talk, who has some things to share about what they're grateful for. And if anybody would like a free read, that is something that we always do at the very end. All right, so Aries full moon on a Sunday, leaving Pisces. Okay, so Aries rules the head and the face. Okay, and I feel like for me today, a lot of that Aries energy been coming through, like being just too much in my head and getting frustrated, tension headache maybe, just from overthinking. But on the flip side, it is a good time to, do a facial, pamper yourself. Maybe a time where you're wanting to come more in the forefront because the fire sign with Aries is sparking your desires to basically connect to your passions. And so it's a time where you really want to kind of jump into action, come out of your comfort zone. It brings that fight in you out. So anything projects that you wanted to start or have already started, this energy definitely supports that. And it's urging you to go ahead and dream big. So don't think that anything is too large of an endeavor. You have to start somewhere. So this is definitely the full moon that supports that urgency. But understand that that could also lead to impulsiveness. So you want to make sure that you're not being reckless, or you want to stay clear of conflicts, because again, all in your head is Mars rules Aries, so it's very passionate, even anger. And if you don't know how to transmute the energy of anger, then it definitely, the expression of it can come off completely wrong, and then it's not necessarily supportive to other beings or your higher self. So you want to kind of be careful, because see, on Sunday it's a day of relaxation and connecting to nature, avoiding too much active work and overthinking. However, because it's Aries, and where the sun is actually in Libra, so it kind of trying to remind us with all these different placements to just go ahead and find the balance. Don't do too much on a Sunday. And that's crazy, because that's the exact opposite of what I was doing. I was ripping and running all day long. And so it was just like, okay, I really got to get back in the headspace, because this was the day where I was supposed to be kind of not too much in my head. This was a day where I was supposed to kind of take it easy. But Aries wants you to just, plow forward, just go through, no excuses. So, and then leaving Pisces, going into Aries, as you're going forward on this journey, don't be shy to ask for help. And also figure out ways that you can help others. So collaborations, partnerships, friendships could definitely blossom, but just make sure that you're choosing your words carefully. Make sure that you're at the ready to want to clear up any misunderstandings, because otherwise, with the Aries tension that could be in the air with discussing very serious business matters or issues that you may wanted to iron out, you can maybe say the wrong thing and somebody could actually, not say the wrong thing. You could say something in a way that someone can perceive it negatively. So be at the ready to want to clear up those intentions, because you want to stay positive. You want to make sure that everything that you are pouring into these endeavors, these relationships, your job, whatever it is that you might have to, what you may be going through, or whatever it is that your responsibilities, you just want to make sure you're not counterproductive, because being a busy bee is only it only makes sense to have a whole bunch of stuff to do if you're structured and if you are organized. I've been talking a lot with my tribe about that, about how important organization is, because I can have all these things to do and even all these to-do lists, but if I don't have a precise plan, that energy is just going to be scattered. And I want to make sure that I'm using that energy most definitely to its fullest potential, and taking proper advantage and not taking it for granted. So with the full moon, a lot of times it's a lot of restlessness and not wanting to go to sleep. So Aries kind of doubles down on that. So try to make sure that at any point in time, I don't know, take a nap if possible, because a lot of times at nighttime, certain people might be prone to be a little more stirred up. But if you're like me and have a regular day job that you have to get up in the morning, it's like, okay, I need to really prioritize my rest. So think about your night routine and trying to, like, maybe make some changes just to support the fact that we don't want to burn out just because we're on the go and, gung ho with moving forward with these endeavors. So I'm hoping that makes sense. That's just that the overall energy to take advantage of, that drive to act, but making sure that you remain as balanced as possible. So again, I'm Lola B. This is the Moon Podcast, and we are here at the full moon of Aries on this Sunday, October 9th, just to kind of talk about what's the energy, how to take advantage of it to its fullest potential. And we're going to start off with the Prism Oracle deck to go ahead and get the collective energy. If you know me, you know that I am a very colorful individual. And so this was a deck that basically just, accessing your inner wisdom and colorology. I definitely use that as a form to assist my mood or to understand it. So we're just going to keep going and just go right into it. Thank you, Spirit, for this time that we can come together. I do have a little bit of a different setup. I'm a little closer to my device. Like I said, it's been a while and it hasn't, I haven't, really got everything restructured. So forgive me if sometimes my head is in the, all in the camera. But I'm hoping to meet and hopefully interact for about an hour and a half, guys. So we're just going to keep it pushing. Just want to see what the collective energy is. Hi, Rose. How's it going? I did see your message. I was literally having a hard time getting started. My device was on the wrong Wi-Fi network. So then I had to just hurry up and kind of get going because I did not want to lag at all. So we did briefly just talk about the overall energy for the Aries full moon on a Sunday that is leaving Pisces, and with the sun being in Libra. And so now we're going to go ahead and just pull some Oracle deck cards to get the overall energy. And I would start with a 3 card, and I normally just go with the the energy leaving, the current energy, and the energy coming in. Um, okay. Thank you. Calling on spirits of the highest light of benevolence here to guide me, love me, and most importantly, to protect me. Thank you so much, Spirit, for your clarity on the current energy. And I would like the energy that is current, leaving, and the energy that is coming in. Okay, so I tried to put those two cards back. Oh yes, most definitely, yes. So sometimes when it comes down to this, as much as I try to like have everything in place and planned out, I have to go with the flow more, and it feels more natural, and it's just better. Give me 1 second. Righty. So right now we just talked about balance. We just talked about hunger. That's the energy of Aries right now. So the current energy and the energy leaving and the energy coming in. I don't know what order these came out in, but basically when we were talking about, I really feel like it's the energy leaving and the current energy. It's pretty much could be interchangeable because we are in Libra right now, so that is supporting the balance. But then coming into this Aries full moon, talking about that hunger, that drive, that need to go after what you really, really, really want. And then love and intuition comes out as it pertains to asking about the energy that is coming in. So I'm sorry, the current energy, the energy leaving, and then the energy coming in. So with balance and hunger, I was saying they could be interchangeable because Aries gives you hunger, but then Libra gives you balance. And so therefore, you could be coming out of kind of feeling like you've been on the go and you've already been just moving toward everything that you want, but then spirit may be saying it's time to balance it out. That's where rest is needed, planning is needed, time to take a pause. So there's always time. Going after what you want is very notable. However, if you're drained and burned out and you crash, hey E, thank you for coming in to YouTube. I know I'm usually on Facebook. I appreciate your energy tonight. Um, when you crash, then what is it that you can get done? Like you're not good for anybody else or to yourself at that particular point. And so balance is absolutely needed. Um, let's I'm gonna just go straight in with cosmic guidance so we can get a little bit more. Because the energy then that seems to be coming in is intuition and love. And that's in order to, spirit is saying, in order to actually have balance, we basically have to listen more to ourselves. We're overthinking and second guessing some decisions. I hear you was looking for me everywhere. I'm so sorry, love. I am trying out so many different things. And because I always wanted my platform to be on YouTube, I decided I needed to come back here and do it on YouTube so that I can always have it organized and my videos will be all in one place. Um, oh, so there's a lot of cards, but I am going to go ahead and take all of them because when the energy is being read, I never know what it might actually pertain to. So yes, I will be here on YouTube and I will try to promote on Instagram and on Facebook and share the links. And I have a lot of things set up, right? But I just want to basically point everybody to one particular place. So yes. Okay, so a lot came out. Rest and healing definitely came out as it pertains to the other side of the balance that we might not have been actually tapped 100% into. We are actively healing and we're going through healing. Healing doesn't always have to come after going through something major, because it says happy endings. um I got my ring light, guys. Sorry about that. Happy endings, end of a chapter. So it healing can sometimes just come from just lessons and things that it's put it like this: it's the difference between a small paper cut and a bullet wound. You understand what I'm saying? So happy endings, end of a chapter. You know what I'm saying? And really trusting your intuition, listening and paying attention, because listen and trust came out, as well as hard work. So again, the energy, basically the current energy, the hard work, commitment, perseverance as there. Remember that worker bee that I was talking about, like going to nature and using that example of how super focused they tend to be. They literally are, they know their purpose is innate. They're doing, living out their purpose and going after it in every second of the day. Everything they do is precise to the goal, right? And they are listening and trusting in themselves and not second guessing. If my body is telling me to do this, my mind is telling me to do that, my spirit is saying do this. Just listening to all parts of self and restoring that balance to make sure that I am living out my purpose. Because that hunger can be so intense. I just want to, don't be a carnivore. Don't just ravish things, but do it more purposeful. And that's where listening to yourself and loving yourself, getting back to a point of somebody's been through some things that they need to forgive themselves for. That's just what I heard. That's just what I heard. That's why that healing is there. Allow light to enter your wounds and just um it's okay. Even if things are your fault. Because it's not always about who to blame, but allow light to enter your womb so that the rest of the part that we really do need to do alone and by ourselves can kind of just finish it out, if that makes sense. 1 second. You said it was a relaxing day. That's good. And you went outside. Two things that definitely the energy supported: getting outside in nature and just relaxing. That's what Sundays are for. Just taking the time to ground yourself and reconnect, right? Um, so continuing on with reading this energy, because I heard it say, let me see what spirit message may or angel message may come out, because I definitely heard spirit say that somebody needs to forgive themselves, even though forgiveness, patience on the split, patience, change, and evaluation. The time to sit and maybe think about, the phase, because do you understand that's what we do every single time when we leave this, when we leave a certain life before we enter into another one, we reevaluate. So basically every cycle has to be a evaluation period. You know what I'm saying? It has to be a time where you sit and say, okay, let me go over everything that just happened. You know what I'm saying? Let me take inventory on where I am mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, with courage. Absolutely, with courage. Okay. So I just want to see what spirit messages more may come out. Okay. Pay attention to the wavelengths of energy. Let every moment another will come. You are a goddess. Somebody needs to be reminded of who they are, and to not be so 100% fixated on the future. Again, my collective, the collective that resonates with me, we are always so worked up about what's going to happen, but we are literally master manifestors. You are a god, you are a goddess. Let go back here. You are a god, you are a goddess came out. And that's interchangeable. It didn't come out any particular way, even though it is a reversal card. But it says pay attention to the wavelengths of energy. Maybe is it people, places, or things around you that you need to be more tapped into? Um, any emphasis on Aquarius, that is an air sign. Any emphasis on Saturday and Sunday, or from January 20th to February 18th, which is the range, um, the dates of Aquarius. So if that's any particular person, you may be one, somebody in your energy field may be one, or just something about Saturday or Sunday, something about the winter season that we're about to go into very, very soon. So just pay attention to the wavelengths of energy, wavelengths of frequency, because we have the power and the potential to manipulate energy. So if something isn't right, make it right. You know what I'm saying? Be the alchemist that you are, because you're forgetting that this is what we do. You're forgetting that literally this is that you are as powerful as you are. That's why it's not just a reminder. And I have to say, I will say this too. Um, there was something that did come up with my tribe about God complex. And so I just want to quickly just say, I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle another deck to get more clarity here. Just reading this energy of those who are here, those who Spirit knows is a part of my collective, who may watch this in a replay, and we're just gonna keep going. But what exactly? I posed questions and not rhetorical; they could be answered. But but sometimes also just to, you know, um, engage in conversation, just to make us think. Okay. Um, what exactly is a God complex? Now, if I'm thinking about it, I understand negative connotation. A lot of times people say that when they're trying to describe somebody's behavior, if they feel like somebody is acting haughty, arrogant, or somebody has this inflated sense of self. Now, there's a fine line, and I understand, but you have to understand that when somebody knows who they are and they are confident, living out and walking out their purpose, unapologetically continuing to heal from, whatever it is that they need to heal from, it it might come across a little bit like a God complex. But you have to understand with duality, I mean, everything there's positive and negative. So what is the positive of a God complex? Meaning me being in tune and knowing who I am. If I am created by entity that can be considered a God, then that means that I am that, because that's what the Bible says, right? Being created in the likeness and image of our creator. And so I'm gonna just go ahead and say it just for the sake of, because it's not, I got attacked the most by Christians and that doctrine when I started reading tarot. Hey Indigo, how's it going? Thank you for your energy. Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad you came in. And so I'm gonna just say, like, there are a lot of scriptures that can support this, and there are a lot of scriptures that support other practices. And I believe that the Bible, like a lot of holy books, you know, they have one meaning. I'm sorry, different interpretations. I always get this mixed up, but they can definitely have different interpretations based off of who's reading it. The overall meaning will always be the same, and then it spans, lifetimes, and it could be used by multiple, groups of people. But it just really depends on how you're choosing to interpret, or what your understanding of what the text is actually saying. But I was attacked by Christians the most, and they're the ones that are taught traditionally that we are to be like Christ and that we're not actually there. So we live a whole life trying to obtain a certain level or status of mind, body, and soul, but we never actually get there. And we have to constantly deny self. When honestly, there is a difference. There, I have different parts of myself. What I need to deny is my ego, but I need to tap into my higher self. Um, okay, so I'm just ranting on, but I was just saying just about the God complex that, we are, we are, we are gods and goddesses, and we need to most definitely, we need to act like that and be more unapologetic. And like I tell people all the time, I'm not conceited or I'm not a haughty person, but I'm also not humble. I will never diminish myself anymore. I was abused a lot. And that constant beating down is something that now I can't afford to do to my own self. You know what I'm saying? So when people perceive me as some type of individual, it's an outward projection of them not being sure of their self. And so and there's nothing wrong with that, because everybody can get there. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the more you interact and exchange energy with certain individuals, that is how we help to, with frequency, either raise or, lower. And so with that being said, it's like, don't necessarily throw the baby out with the bathwater. Give each individual a chance, because we don't always know in an instant what our purpose might be in that individual's life. So every interaction needs to be carefully evaluated. So illness, decisions or lies, like somebody is going through something still with a relationship, whether you feel like there's a disapproval of a relationship, like something that you're half out on, or other people view it, or you're afraid that other people may view this relationship as something that's not healthy for you, but there's a decision that needs to be made. And because illness is here, it might not be healthy. Either you already have been sick, like I was saying earlier about me just having a tension headache just because of the Aries energy, and having to be careful just today about the interactions, to make sure that things that don't need to turn into arguments go to that point. So a lot of times things emotionally and even spiritually can have an effect on how we actually feel in the physical. So you definitely have to be careful with the decision. We already talked about how we need to not overthink and need to trust. So whatever it is that needs to be decided, you already know what you want to do and what you're leaning toward, but there's some hesitation. And it is definitely because of some judgment that is either already being instituted, or judgment that you're afraid of feeling. But going back to that love of what Spirit was trying to say, that went hand in hand with intuition, and being able to really say, that's why I said unapologetically, like you have to make the right decisions for yourself. Your higher self already and always knows what is the best for itself. So that's what you need to be plugged into. That's why being more in control of your thoughts so that you can control your emotions is very, very important. You could be the person that's in your own way, or it could be an outside energy. But that's why healing was here too. Like I said, just healing from certain things. Okay, yeah. Erica, your energy always comes through so strong every single time you come on. So I knew it had something to do with you, but it just, it depends on what you would like to share as it's coming out. So you have to trust that you made the right decision. Because it said happy endings. So endings could have came out so many different type of ways. It's telling you that this was a good decision. So when you're closing that chapter, going toward a new one, or closing that door, there's always in restoring that balance, there is good things, that are coming from that. Let's try to get a little more spirit messages. Did anybody have any questions at all? Anything they wanted to talk about as far as how their day went? This was a full moon again in Aries, so I was just interested because my day was definitely all over the place, and I was ripping and running, and on the split reflection 10, that's the ending. So basically, it's just time to just think about everything that happened. Sometimes when stuff is over, I don't get all into the retrogrades, but I think that they said Mercury was over, but it was starting back up. Some of the other planets are still moving backwards. So definitely look that up because I try to focus on kind of like what I've been studying for the past couple of years. So I'm not really sure about um, the retrogrades, but I did hear that Mercury was going to like move back the opposite way and then go back into retrograde like shortly after. So it seems like it was a lot of intense stuff, and it kind of now, as we went from the new moon to the full moon, in that complete cycle, that it kind of settled down. How do y'all feel? Y'all feel like the energy kind of like settled a little bit, like kind of currently? Let me know. I'm going to pull some more angel messages before we're right at the 30-minute mark to talk a little bit about gratitude. The shift, definitely. It has it been a positive shift? Is it going from where it was really, really intense to settled, or was it peaceful before and now is it picking up? Just personally, just a personal question. It's not as stressful. That's awesome because again, the retrograde, I think it's 50% mental because if we weren't in tune and plugged into what that meant and we weren't aware of it, it wouldn't affect us as much. Like for instance, I'm not really big on holidays. So like I have younger kids, and if they didn't look at the shows because they're not in traditional school, if they didn't look at the shows around the holiday time that told them it was Christmas, they wouldn't know it was Christmas. And not knowing it's Christmas means they're not bothering me about the toys. Like their energy is not affected or manipulated by the outside sources if they're not plugged into it. So that's another reason why um I was kind of second. I'm gonna be a transparent moment, okay? I was second guessing myself a lot earlier because I was saying, like, dang, I know that um I study astrology. I only go right now into the sun sign, the moon sign, and the ascendant. And then when it comes to moonology, I focus on the full moon and the new moon. It's so many other placements. It's so many conjunctions, it's aspects and different things. I mean, you could go so freaking deep, okay, when it comes to the cosmos, because we're just one little part of it, okay? And spirit just had to remind me, like, no, you're using what works for you. You're going toward what resonated and what you're able to piece together and remember from previous knowledge. And I was just kind of like, I didn't know if I was selling myself short or if the information isn't all the way accurate because I wasn't going all deep. And it's like, no, it's about what you attune to. So if I'm saying that this is the methods I use for manifestation and I live by the moon and this works for me because this is what I'm attuned to. I can add things later on, I could take things away. But when you decide whatever resonates with you, when you decide what path to take and what to be attuned to, that will then affect you. A lot of things don't affect, like how I was just talking about Christianity. I don't practice Christianity anymore. I don't attend church. I don't read the Bible like religiously. All those different type of things that you would do as a Christian. So because of that, a lot of what used to affect me when I was a Christian doesn't even cross my mind anymore. So I really think that I said that to say that you have to be careful too, because things really can consume the mental from the fact that it depends on what you're focused on. And that's what intentions and manifestations is really truly all about, your focus. Because if you're focused on the negative, that is what will manifest. That's why you're never supposed to, if you're trying to manifest something, don't think on what you don't want to happen, because that's the first thing that you're creating with your thought pattern in your reality is that thing. So focus on what you do want to happen. So it's like, not knocking anything, but I go as deep as I'm led to go. We can look up and maybe see Lola be somewhere completely different a year from now, but it's really is that's where the growth and the expansion can come from. But I was just led to say that because I was having a moment earlier, like, am I not doing enough, going deep enough? But it was just like, no, you're always, I hear Spirit saying again right now, you're always right where you're meant to be. Um, All right, ladies. So we're at a point to where I'm like 35 minutes in. So I really felt like I got a good handle on the energy. If anybody had any questions, I definitely can pull some more cards, but definitely don't second guess this ending, and understand that you don't overthink and make yourself sick with worrying about things that are out of your control. There's a hunger that still exists within the energy, and you have put in a lot of hard work, and there's a lot more hard work coming because everything goes in cycles. So after you rest, you get up and you put in some more hard work, but definitely trust yourself, love on yourself, and listen to your higher self. And that's where the balance that needs to be created will definitely be there if you allow it to. Allow the light to enter your wounds. So, any questions? Just if while the energy is being read, anything about um the current energy? If you had anything specific to ask Spirit, or if you were wondering anything, if you had anything about moonology, if you had any questions about manifestation and how gratitude plays a part in it. Any questions? All questions. Talking to each other or to me. That's why Moon Mood is called a podcast, because I encourage conversation. I could sit here and I could talk to myself because that's what I do. And that's how I started. And being able to enhance the spirit communication was always with beginning to know your own higher self's voice and be able to connect to that. But sometimes it feels good to talk to others. Okay, don't forget it was Aquarius energy that was out here. Any emphasis on the winter season, Saturday or Sunday. Um, just in case that's significant for anybody. Spirit just wants you to know that there's a time for everything. There's a time for rest and there's a time for work. But there's never room for worry. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm gonna have to write that down because that definitely didn't just come from me. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? We're going to talk about gratitude. Manifestation techniques that aligns with the full moon. That is a great question because that is what we're going to talk about right now, and that is gratitude. So the full moon energy, that's not silly at all. That's not silly at all. You're in the physical body, so your physical needs are just as important. So it's not silly to say, and thank you for sharing that. That's a very that's the most I've ever heard you like open up on a live before, E. And what is the main frustration? What do you feel like is the blockage with that? And I'm going to go back to Rose's question right after we talk about what Erica is saying. Um, because Rose question leads us right into the next part of the live. Rose says her sexual needs are non-existent because of the hunger for success. I definitely, when I took my vow of celibacy, I definitely felt yeah, I had mastered it. When I succumbed to loneliness and boredom, that's when then the hormones started to go in a different direction again. But I always have been to a point to where I was very good at taking that sexual energy and using it for manifestation, using it for a lot of other things. So, you know, so Erica, you're back in a relationship? Because I thought you were single, love. But it's completely understandable too because they goes through a lot of different phases. And so you said it's the connection with you two that is blocking that. And that's good. That's good that those conversations are being had. I know Erica, in the past you've had not so much success with talking to your partner about your needs, but let me see before we move on real quick. Is there any type of advice that you would give Rose about different ways to effectively communicate your needs to your partner? And it's not to say that people can't change, but when you go back to old energy, some of those old feelings, and I'm not talking about feelings like in that type of way, talking about this, that same energy is being recycled. So you can't really expect much unless a lot of change. And I'm not judging. So I'm not saying because I don't know. But a lot of times it hasn't because cycles take longer sometimes than we think. My question was, what could we do? And vitality and protection. You 4 and 4 breaks down to 8. 4 and 7 breaks down to 11. Definitely, definitely your whole self just needs to be definitely your whole self just needs to be revitalized. Either you've been safeguarding yourself, and a lot of times sometimes we put up those walls around ourselves to protect, or you need to. Thank you. I don't know what the hell told me to put it on today. I just wanted a little splash of color. I appreciate that. Um, definitely may need to safeguard yourself, or maybe you already have been safeguarding yourself, and that um is what's coming through because the protection card came out. And a lot of times I see it as you need to be protected. So if you feel a disconnection, you might be at a point. Yeah, most definitely, Rose. I would love for you to do that because um, me knowing Erica personally, I know that she has had some challenges in the past trying to really get him to understand, what it is that she needs, and him being able to, act on those things, and for them to continue on, um, in a positive direction. So, okay, yeah, no worries. But in the overall sense, you are either guarded or need to guard yourself. And I'm thinking that it's coming across more so that it's something that you need to do because you went back to a relationship that was not that healthy in the beginning. And so going back to it, you need to just be careful because even if you go back to an ex, what did you learn from the first time that you were together? It's like if you didn't take that time to reevaluate and evaluate at when the ending comes, that's what we're supposed to do. And if that wasn't done and you just wanted the companionship and everything that came along with it back, and you got back into that situation, that may be why spirit is telling you that you need to safeguard yourself. Um, every Sagittarius I know loves to talk. So you know how I feel about, I feel like he shuts himself out to you, but you are being drained by him. But it's such a fiery time right now, like to really just open up and go after everything that you need. So you need to get aligned with your throat chakra and really just say it. And it's like, and it's really on some needs to be, it doesn't matter not how you say it, but it doesn't matter the outcome of if what you saying is liberating to you, um, then it doesn't matter what happens with the relationship, is what I'm saying. And I know, and that's easy for me to say, being where I'm single, I'm not with anybody right now. Spirit is saying that you definitely need to meditate, take some time to clear your mind, figure out what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. And don't, yes, I was going to say attend to the details. Rose just said, try writing out a list of things you need. Like, be very precise in that. Be very, very precise in that. Be very particular. Be very specific. Um, because a lot of times, even though we have the ability to pick up on the energy of someone else's thoughts, it just would be better to just communicate it than to try to make someone read your mind, right? So you definitely find a way to flip this intense energy and use it for like fuel to your fire type of situation. Let this be the fire under your ass to say, look, this is what I want. So this is what I'm going to do to try to communicate that. I hope that makes sense. I love that, Rose. That was very good advice. So let's get into gratitude if there weren't any other questions. If there weren't any other questions, let's get into gratitude. So gratitude is, that's awesome. That's awesome. And that's like I said, another way to just be on the same page. I'm a fan of writing everything down. I have lists all the time and I have to go back and try to get myself together. Listen to a place to hear what you said. I have to charge my phone. Okay, no problem. We're off of that. But I hope that you got some advice to deal with the disconnection in a relationship. And since it's a calmer time, take the time to like really be careful about what you say, but definitely don't neglect saying what needs to be said. I love you, and we're gonna keep it pushing. So come definitely replay it, just to get some more insight about the gratitude for this particular time. So it's a full moon, and it is a time now where whatever intentions that you have set in the previous cycle, you might have already started to see some of the things start to manifest, and maybe not, or you may just be at the point to where you're really just starting to the work is starting to make sense behind um the intention. So it just really depends personally. However, um to go ahead and boost your manifestation at this time in a full moon, it is a time to appreciate your present blessing. So what I would like to do with the ladies that are here, is to think about at least three things that we are thankful for. And if you want to share, most definitely share. If you cannot, and I always forget to remind people that, again, conversational and interactive. So you always got to come to the live with a piece of paper and something to write with, because writing is a very powerful part of rituals as well. And writing helps to free up the mind. Writing also is a memory exercise. So definitely write it down. So we're going to write down 3 things that we are thankful for. And I'm definitely going to share all mine. I haven't even thought about this all day, which is crazy. But it makes it better to where I can just go ahead and do these things along with you guys. 3 things I am grateful for. Okay. Indigo said music, being alive, and having somewhere to lay my head. I know that is right. Oh my gosh. That always comes around when the weather changes. I'm always like, you know what? I'm so thankful for having a home. I cannot imagine being homeless, when it's the winter time. And it always pulls at my heart, you know what I'm saying? So how much we can definitely take for granted something simple, because those are basic things, right? Um, Having a house and food and stuff, that's basic survival things in this realm. But it's like a lot of people don't have that. And the fact that, we do have that is something that we definitely need to offer up gratitude to the universe for. Um, and when I say my prayers, I always talk about my material possessions that help me to navigate this realm. I ask for protection for those, and I offer up gratitude for those. Try not to get too much into the material things, but these things matter here, and so I'm definitely grateful for that. So I love that one. Most importantly, music, definitely. I've been working on my EP, and so it has definitely, every time I complete a song and get to a certain point and put this project together, it helps me to continue to see myself as the great creator that I am. And so I'm grateful for music as well. Rose said, my children, my mindset, and my stability. Almost definitely those little beings. I learned so much from them. And I love that we have the type of relationship where we could, um, student, teacher, teacher, student. You know what I'm saying? Where I don't have to look at it like, oh, because they're younger or whatever. Like, I really respect them, and whatever insight that comes out their mouth, I'm always paying attention to, because you just never freaking know. And I've been going through a lot with my family at home, with my kids lately. So that's something I can say I'm also, grateful for. You said your mindset and your stability. Yes, definitely, definitely, definitely been going through some things lately where I have acknowledged to myself that I didn't respond the way that I used to. So I know that my mind has changed. One second. So 3 things specific for me. I'm just gonna go off the top of my head right now, because I didn't really think about it that much. But I am definitely thankful for. I say I'm thankful for one of my spirit guides is my son that passed away, and um I feel like that was my first introduction to really connecting right after I left Christianity, and connecting to like ancestors and doing the veneration and having the altar and stuff. It was a long progression of years to build up to this point. And so, but that spirit consistently being a guide and a comfort and a peace for me in the most recent years. I'm really, really grateful for spirit communication. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I definitely am always feel better. Like if I'm having a very intense day, being able to connect to other people in the right energy always seems to put me right at peace. And so I always say I'm appreciative of the energy that's exchanged. But yeah, so one of my specific spirit guides, I'm really grateful for in this moment because I've been going through a lot of things with family specifically, and that spirit guide, me knowing their name and having experienced them in this realm, I'm just grateful of that, for that connection and that relationship and everything that I've learned through spirit communication. So that's the one thing I'm gonna make sure I write it down for my spirit communication with my son. And that's my basically, he's been my spirit guide. I think I lost my son probably, let me see, my oldest is 19. So I lost my son probably 17, 18 years ago. Well, yeah, 17 years ago. So yeah, long time, long time. Another thing that I am grateful for is um my day job. I'm grateful for my day job. Um, I have a great job. I work for a medical company. It's based out of California. Um, in a short amount of time, I was able to go from a temporary hire to having my own department. And excuse me, that's a banana I ate. I'm sorry. Um, having my own department, like just really proving my worth and as an asset to the company. And hey, Keys, welcome on in. We are just at the point to where we've already discussed we discussed the overall energy. I did a quick little read, and so now we're just talking about three things that we're grateful for. And the other ladies have shared already, so I'm just talking about my second thing. Um, because we're in the gratitude portion. So yeah, my day job. I was just joking around with my son the other day too. Like it was a certain point in time where I had an attitude, and that attitude from like the old me was poking through, and I was not giving my all. However, thank you. Y'all making a girl feel special. um, but I had an attitude, and I know that was one of the things I needed to be working on. And so I definitely got my shit together. And changing my attitude definitely brought in so many blessings from my job. And it was always good. I just had to recenter my focus because I just was hell bent on just having an attitude. But I am thankful for my day job because it definitely is. You know, I tell people all the time that money is a tool and the job is a toolbox. So I go there to get the tool, use the tool to, do what I need to do in this realm, right? So my day job. And the third thing that I am grateful for is, it's not that it's hard to think, it's just really me trying to go with how I feel right now instead of being like, like overthinking it. So like, if I read that right. Of course. But no, I'm really for real, for real, for real. I am grateful for, third and lastly, um, I am grateful for, well, you know what? What I was saying about going back to the music, I can honestly say that was something I was thinking about too. Just remembering my talent. Like, sometimes, you know how you just sometimes just be in awe of yourself? Like, bitch, you, you wrote that, girl. That's how I be, that's how me be talking to me. Like, so I'm really grateful for the God given talents that I have because there's so much revelation sometimes that comes out of that. Like I will write things and put things together and be looking like, wait a minute, and I know there's God. You know what I'm saying? I know that is spirit that is coming through because I am a channeler. You know what I'm saying? And people always ask me how I do when it pertains to music. And sometimes I honestly step back and say, I don't know. I tell people all the time they think it's so funny. Y'all remember Michael Jackson on his one of the documentaries? He talked about how He said that he would get songs in his dreams and he would feel like he had to wake up because he was being taunted that if he didn't do something with what he was being given, it was going to be given to somebody else. I have definitely felt that way. Where it's just like, wait a minute, hold on. Because I definitely get songs in my dreams. I hear melodies and everything all the time. I am so plugged in to sound frequency, it's ridiculous. Um, that's a whole nother conversation, but I am definitely grateful for my God-given talents because I write things and I know that especially when they are specifically spirit inspired, it is helping me. You know what I'm saying? I can listen, going back and being able to listen to your own music and have a healing effect is just amazing. And I feel like that really speaks to how specific you know, you were with the intention and with the words because we're casting spells every time we speak. So adding that to sound frequencies and vibrations, and then you know the drums and the instruments, the instrumentation on top of that, and just the melodies. All this is it's a music has always been a perfect formula of energy transmutation, and so yeah, I can go on and on, but my spirit communication with one of my main spirit guides, which is my son, my day job, and my God given talents. Those are the things that with this full moon right now that I am absolutely grateful for. So I wrote those down and just something for me to reflect on in the next couple days. Um, why is this important? Gratitude is important because what happens when we're discontent? What happens when everything around us is great, but because of our mindset, we're just constantly wanting more. We're just constantly seeing the glass half full, half empty instead of half full. Um, I use that analogy that came so quick to my mind because it's just that simple. It's perspective. The way that you are viewing something has a lot to do with your attitude towards it. And if you don't have an attitude of gratitude, all you're doing is manifesting more lack. If you're not paying attention to what you have already been afforded, what you already have, and definitely utilizing it. I'm a recycler. Okay, this example is coming to my mind right now. I tell my kids, try to find a way to reuse it at least one time before throwing it away. And sometimes I go to the extent and I will hoard things just because of that. I'm like, it's so wasteful to throw it away. I am very intentional about everything that I do. And it's just like, let's appreciate what we have and be so focused, as Rosa was saying earlier, on what it is that we want, that then when it does come, it will be that pleasant surprise. I gave that message um a cycle ago to a specific group of signs. I can't remember right now which ones it was. But it was just like, you're going to be so caught up that it's going to be like, oh, shoot, I was manifesting this. And boom, here it is in my face. You just want to be so much about your business that's how it comes across. Um, Lack, there's no such thing. We live in a realm of abundance and we have the ability to manipulate things here. We have the ability to create our own reality. So it makes no sense for fear, for lack, for certain things to even exist, but they exist because we create those. So how can we then not do that? Gratitude. Be thankful. And saying I'm thank you, and also being a vessel or being a engine of gratitude. You want people to come around you and just feel like, I just feel blessed to be alive. That's what exchanging energy would do with, like we talked about, with the right people. Be an engine of it, be a vessel, something that it pours out of, just be a fountain of, I'm in the present moment and I just appreciate everything that is. I appreciate being here. I appreciate that tree that blocks, you know, that cleans my air right in front of my house and blocks the sunlight at times where it may be too hot. Like literally, it don't have to be nothing deep and spooky. Just being able to be thankful for all that is. That is how you align yourself with all that is to come. Because we are in a realm where right now our present is the future in the spirit realm. So we're just trying to align ourselves with what already is, what already is ours. Okay, that's why we work on intention so much, because we are trying to clear out what isn't important, what's blocking, what's in the way, what's distracting, and to focus on where we want to be. We are time travelers. He talks about it all the time. And so there's a lot of times when we're sleeping, daydreaming, or when we go into meditative states where we are seeing ourselves in other dimensions, times, places, in a lot of different aspects. We can either return back to somewhere we've been before, or we can go to, you know what I'm saying, where we're trying to get. And it's all within our abilities. So we really have to figure out what we want to focus on. Focusing on being thankful for what you already have aligns you with what will be. It's really simple. We complicate it, but it's simple. So a lot is anytime you get to where you're stressed, and I hear spirit talking specifically, anytime where you get to where you're feeling stressed about anything current or some past situation, person, or circumstance that may be trying to come back and be a little evasive, you need to instantly stop in that moment and just offer some type of gratitude. Offer some type of shift in the thinking so that that does not end up taking over all and knocking you down from all the progress, because what's there is going to be there. You don't miss out from opportunities that are yours. What's meant for you is yours. There's no such thing as missed opportunities, because I can't. If it's my opportunity, Rose can't have my opportunity. Indigo can't have, Rose's opportunity. Like, it just, that doesn't happen. So it's important to not get fixated on stuff that just, first off, it just doesn't even make sense. I'm never going to miss an opportunity that's mine. It's just if I'm not ready for it, then I wasn't ready for it. What do I got to do to get ready for it? Maybe I need to eliminate some energy that's not serving me. Maybe I need to pray and meditate a little bit more. Maybe I need to detox and cut some people out and cut some bad habits out. Maybe I need to start getting up earlier in the morning and going to sleep a little later. Maybe I mean, it's always going to be something that you need to do with self. Always, 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 always. But it's never going to be like, dang, I messed up and now I can't. No, I'm gonna tell you a quick little story, and then we can open up for some more questions. I was so geeked, y'all, and this was literally just in the last couple months, because I hadn't been baking for a while. And I went back and revamped my Facebook page, and I had 2 orders. It's a big order that I needed to ship to Arizona, and then I had met a lady in the Uber, and I had a conversation with her and just opened up about my business, asked her, and she talked about having a restaurant. So instantly I thought, oh, hey, this is the opportunity for me to just like see if she wants to do some type of collaboration, because that's what I'm 100% about. Anybody that knows me knows I'm always trying to do business with somebody. And so I asked her who was doing her dessert menu and what the capacity was and stuff like that. And so we talked, and I don't know why my nose is running. Illness did come out, so we have to definitely be careful around this time. Drink some tea. Um, Make sure we're getting the right herbs and some water in, and sinuses. I don't know if anybody's dealing with sinus issues or allergies. My nose always runs, but when I'm doing a reading, normally specific things come out. So if you deal with allergies or your sinuses or whatever, you definitely want to try to use sage, rosemary, um, maybe some turmeric, ginger, um, some herbal blends, some herbal teas. We're about to, again, transitioning seasons and stuff like that too. We want to make sure our immune system is built up. So I just wanted to say that too, because my nose started running. So for anybody that's for, look up some things. The internet does have a lot of information about herbal blends and herbs to basically use as a defense mechanism. And you want to consume these things in some way. I smoke herbs. We eat them with our food. The oils, essential oils, are herbs as well. And any way to ingest or digest them, using them from aromatherapy, whatever works best for you, or maybe try something new as we're going into a new season. I guess depending on like where you are, obviously in the country or the world. But I know here in Michigan it's colder now. We're in fall, and winter will be knocking on the door very soon. So that just came to mind out of nowhere. But what was I saying before that? I did want to open up questions though. Oh, I was talking about the little cake story. So my business, y'all know that I bake. I have a treat table, and it seemed like everything was great. I was so excited, but I was pressured to get a whole bunch done in a weekend. My car had just had some damage to it, and I had to wait to get it fixed. So I had to wait to the end of the week before I can like go get everything I really needed to bake, because I was doing it with like Ubering and with like ordering stuff on Shipt and stuff, but it just wasn't the same as being able to go to the store and get what I needed. And Rose, you know, you're a baker, you understand what I'm saying. So like, I did the best I could. Now I got paid for the Arizona order. Couldn't send it because by the time I got ready to send it to try to be, it was a catering order. It was gonna cost too much for the shipping. So they just basically paid that into my business and said they will order something at another time, that it was okay. And I was very gracious for the people to do that. But then the other thing I was working on was trying to do this collaboration, because it was like a contract that was up for play. Like, oh, if everything goes well, she likes the desserts I make, I can, take over some things on her dessert menu, kind of become a part of the team and maybe have a contract with her to be able to sell my baked goods out of her restaurant. Sounds great, right? Wrong. um, our personalities and energies just didn't match. She's a more experienced baker, and I felt like she talked to me like that. She really kind of made me feel like I didn't really know what I was doing. She did like my signature pound cake, and we talked about that, but it was something that was stopping me from going ahead with it. Then she made placed another call, like after not talking for a little while. And mind you, this is no bad blood with this person at all. We don't even know each other personally. This was literally for business. But this is an example of how I had to be reminded that um it was more important for me to stand up and be in a position, in a place to take an opportunity to show the universe I was ready for whatever got thrown my way. But I need to be careful about who I do business with. And if it didn't work out, it wasn't for me in the first place, right? So she called, and I just didn't like the kind of conversation that was being had. And she wanted to order some banana pudding. And it was for like an event. But she didn't hit me straight with the details. She kind of danced all around with her knowledge of knowing that I hadn't been practicing baking recently, and I was trying to get business for myself. And I hate when people use that type of shit against people, and that's the kind of energy I was picking up. So I'm not saying I know her actual intention, but that's kind of what was going on. And I was just like, hey, like, dang, because if it was a client calling me, they would tell me the details of their event, where it's located, what time, what day, how many people they're trying to feed, and I could tell them what I offer. It's like she was talking down to me in a way. And it was just like when I got off the phone, I realized this isn't for me. And certain personalities just won't be. And that's completely okay. I'm always very gracious. I think I hung up the phone more confused and had to piece together the conversation and the interactions previous to that conversation to really figure out like how I felt about it. But I had to realize, okay, that just wasn't my opportunity and it's completely okay. And I know that whatever treat table is going to do, um, it's probably better for me not to have moved forward and signed a contract with somebody than it was for me to do it. Um, have you guys ever had those type of experiences before? I'm trying to get to my question page too. Anybody ever had that experience before? I don't know who's left in here, but definitely don't get caught up on missed opportunities because there's really no such thing. And it was a huge lesson for me. And have I baked sense? I'm gonna be honest with you. I have not, but it's okay because I felt like I showed the universe I was ready. And I pulled off the impossible or what seemed impossible. Because it's everything is possible, but I pulled off, some last minute stuff and I was really proud of myself. But I was again, you be really hard on yourself. And I was hard on myself at that particular point. So you know, it was a huge lesson in that. So even talking about gratitude, I'm grateful for that experience. I'm grateful that I had to be, reminded. Yeah, I have to deal with a lot of different personalities in every endeavor, and I have to be ready and trusting my gut too. Because when I didn't feel like something was right, then I was able to not move forward. I didn't have to waste any more time or energy to something that wasn't, my opportunity. So, you know, everything always works out for your highest good, no matter how long it may take for you to be in tune to what is actually happening, if that makes sense. So yeah. Um, so that's really it, guys. I normally, if everybody was still in, I would go ahead and do any personal reads for anybody that was interested. Um, and maybe just talk more about emotions and feelings and how the moon is actually affecting you in this particular time. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you guys were thankful for. That has definitely helped me to okay. That has definitely helped me to um add more to my gratitude list. Some things that I am also just as grateful for that, they slip the mind sometimes. So thank you for sharing. And make sure that you take some time um, before the end of the full moon to go ahead and write out a list. It could be as many things or as less as you want. This is your personal list. You can go more in depth. This can be between just you and the universe in your own private time to be able to just, and I think that it's really a eye-opening, and I'm literally racking my brain right now for a different word for humble because I really do. I despise that word. But for lack of better, it could be a humbling experience to sit there. And as you're writing and thinking, you're thinking of all these things. And you might end up with a list longer than what you started with because when you really start to get deep down, like, dang, I got this, I got that. And you know, like when somebody say how you doing and we say can't complain, like that takes that to a whole nother level because you're literally putting yourself in the mind frame of that present moment, breathing, I'm alive, I'm on earth, I'm grounded, I'm here. And then this is everything around me and my atmosphere are this is all mine. Everything I see, everything I can touch, everything, I'm saying, that I have. It definitely brings you back to center. It brings you closer to source and it helps you um, to kind of get rid of that anxiety and that worked up anxious feeling that we get around the time when we're in the middle of the cycle. And like I said, we may be seeing some things actually coming into play for the manifestations, and then we may not be. So it's like I know I hear spirit saying like, don't get worked up at all. Keep moving forward. Um, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I definitely strive to uh live out loud. That is my tagline, and really trying to be the example, because I am still learning and I am still going through these things, but it's tried and true for me. Every single thing that I had that we speak about and teach is things that I'm going through and things that I'm allowing spirit to bring me into. Um so it's a transparent thing for me to get here and to try to share and to plug into spirit, because any time that I pull cards, it's going to be my energy as well. It's not just for somebody else. And so that's what makes this a conversation. That's what makes it a give and take and a back and forth, because we are talking to spirit together. We are, connected in some way, somehow. I believe that anybody that is led here is supposed to be here. Okay. And so because of that, I take all the messages myself. I go back and my kids is like, "Oh, you're watching yourself?" I go back and rewatch these lives and I take notes, because it's not me. And if anybody really understands that, when it comes to channeling and spirit communication, I have to go back and I want to know what spirit was saying as well. I want to make sure that I got the message that was given through me, right? So yes, I most definitely thank everybody that came in. We're about to get to the hour and a half mark, and I think that is how far that I wanted to go. The only reason why I probably won't do any personals right now is because I don't have a lot of people on engaging. And I know, Rose, remind me, the session that we have that's a one-on-one, was that going to be an actual reading? Right. So that way, okay, so we can do ours in private. So just so you know how it goes, and for those who might not know, every single time we come together, again, on the Moon podcast, I come twice a month. That is on the new moon, which is normally toward the beginning of the month, and the full moon, which is usually toward the end. But we're in the latter part of the calendar year, so it kind of switches in these later months to where this is a full moon now, and it's the beginning of the month. The new moon is going to be closer to the end of this month, I believe the 25th of October. So it'll be the new moon going into the new month. So I come on and we gather together. I cleanse the space. We're definitely getting in, talking about some personal things, about how we feel, how the moon's energy has affected us on this particular day and time and space. I will start out, and I always open up with a collective energy read, just trying to get the energy, the current energy, and anybody who is here, any messages that spirit may have to say, just so we can kind of figure out how we want to guide the conversation. That's always a good way to open up. Then we go into whether it's going to be intention setting or gratitude. Today was gratitude. We talked about some things that we were thankful for. And then after that, like I said, I open up for discussion and for personal reads. And usually I will pull out my pendulum as well if people have more insight where yes or no questions can be helpful. And so it's really simple. It's just exchanging energy with each other, trying to heal, helping each other, and learning about how to utilize the moon's energy to really affect your life. I am 100% believer that we are masters at creating our own realities. We need to get to a point to being in tune so that we're more intentional, because we've been creating our reality even when we weren't aware of what we were doing. And now we're backtracking and trying to fix some of those things that may not be to our liking. And that's just as simple as it is. And if we keep it simple like that and trust ourselves, it will continue to be just that easy. So again, I am so grateful. I'm Lola B. This is the Moon podcast. Grateful for everybody that came in. Grateful for everybody that will replay. Hoping that you receive something. Stay with the attitude of gratitude. I always say do everything out of love and with thanks. And that has a lot of effect on your mood and how your mood will also affect others. Thank you so much and have a good night. I'll see you guys on the next one.